Hey guys, if I may ask you, where does the data live? So you would say it lives in files, folders, databases, exactly. And that type of data is called as structured data. Now we also have unstructured data. So what are some use cases of unstructured data? So for example, you are in a talk with your client, all right, and you are taking notes of all the important points being raised in that conversation. And once the call is over, the next step that you have to do is you have to store that data. Okay, why? Because data is an intellectual property, you just can't throw it away, right? So the first step in this is, because the notes are being taken on a physical document, you got to scan that document. All right, so you have scanned the document, but now the information is unstructured. Okay, so you got to extract the text from the scanned document and store that information in some kind of relational database. Okay, so that you give that information some kind of structure and you can easily query the structure. All right, now the other case would be, for example, client visits your office and there's a contract form. Okay, so client reads that contract, all right, and say, okay, fine, I'm approving that. So now that is again an intellectual property and that has to be stored. So again, you are going to scan those documents, all right, and you're going to extract that information later point of time and put them in some kind of structure. Now just imagine if you got to do this activity of reading the documents and doing the data entry manually. It is going to consume a lot of time. Now the solution to this problem is OCR. Now OCR is optical character recognition. Now it is a technology which is used for automating data extraction from printed or written text from a scanned document or image file. Okay, and then we convert the text into a machine readable form to be used for data processing like editing or searching. Right guys, so in this video we are going to extract the data from an image. Okay, so let us look at the images. So this is an image document which contains the English text. I have got another one which has got the Chinese characters and all right, so in this video we are going to write a code to extract data from all of these images. All right, so to extract the text from the image we require a module and the name of the module is Tesseract.js. So in Google just search for npm tesseract.js and click on this first link. All right, so this is my landing page. If I scroll down, so it says it is a JavaScript library that gets words in almost any language out of the images, which is great, right? Like I mentioned, we have three images. We have English, Hindi, and Chinese. Okay, and now guys, there are two versions of this library. Okay, version 1 and version 2. So version 2 is the latest and greatest one. So we are going to work on that. And the great part is you can use this library for client side development as well and also for server side development, meaning in the browser also you can use that and in the nodejs environment also you can use it. Great, right? Now to look at the list of languages that this supports, just click on this. Okay, and then in here there's a table which will list down all the languages that it supports. It's a big list guys. Okay, and of course I'm going to export all of my code files to this GitHub repository. All right, great. Let's start with the coding part. What do we have to do first? So we have to first bring in that library. Okay, I'm sorry, I mean I've already installed this module, so definitely you too need to do that. So the command is very simple. You have to say npm I tesseract.js. Okay, I've already done that, so I'm now simply going to bring in that library. So I say tesseract is equal to require and I bring in that library tesseract.js. All right, now we have to use this tesseract and we say dot and we get this method recognize. We have to work on this method guys. Now let's look at the hint. So the first argument is image. All right, of course, I mean we require an image from which we are going to extract the text. Second one is language, which is optional, and the third one is an options. Okay, so let's work on our first image, which is image-text.jpg. So we say image image-text.jpg. Alright, now it contains the English text, so I say English, and the last one is the option, which is an object. And if you do control space, now you see these options. So logger, what is the logger? Alright, so this extraction is going to take some time, and if you want to see what is happening while this library is extracting the text from that file, you can use this option. And now with the help of this logger, you can log it to the file. In our case, we are simply going to log it to the console, so you just have to write a function like so. Okay, now let us again hover over this. So what does it return? It returns a promise and of type recognize result. Alright, great. So we just have to say dot then, and in here we are going to get the result back, right? And we write the callback and pass that result as an argument to that callback. And let's simply print result dot, let's see, what do we have? We have data. Okay, you say dot, and in here guys, these are the options, and we have to work on text. Okay, like so. In case of an error, we say catch, and we catch that error. Here also we have to write the callback, and then we simply say console log error dot message, like so. It's that simple. This is the only code that you have to write. Alright, now to execute this, we say node image-text.js. Let's execute this. So you see logs are getting printed to the console, and let's wait for this to be completed. Alright guys, so at the end we see this text. Let's match this text with our image. So this is our image, and we see Cypress is a next generation front-end testing tool, and at the end we have subscribed to QA box. Let's test. So it works. Now let's try the same with one more language, Hindi. So let us comment out the previous one. So what is the name of the file? image-hindi-text.jpg. Great. Let's change this to HIN. This is the language code. Let me save this and execute this. Alright, so this text is also extracted. So let me show you the text. This is the text. Okay. Alright, and the last one is Chinese. Okay, so you have this text. Let me go back and let me take a copy of this again, comment this out. Alright, and let's make a change first. So rather than doing it like this guys, if you open the documentation, so they are using this destructuring. Okay, this is nothing, this is just destructuring. So we can do the same in our case as well. So instead of result, we say okay, let's destructure the output. Okay, and I just want to pick data. Now in data also there are a lot of properties, so let's destructure that as well. And I just want to fetch the text property, and guys now you have to just say text in here like so. Okay. Alright guys, so that was destructuring. If that confuses you, so I think I have helped you there. Alright, so let's make a changes in here. So we have to say Chinese, and in Chinese we have this PNG. I was just experimenting with different file extensions, so PNG. Alright, and in here also we have to make a change. So let us go back to this documentation and look out for Chinese. So we have this language code. Let's come back, replace this, save everything, run this again. Alright, so we are able to fetch the Chinese characters as well. Great. Now the next step is we have to create a reusable function, because for 3 documents I have written this code 3 times, right? So let's create a function which I can use. So what are the different arguments that I have to pass. So arguments would be the data that is constantly changing. Okay, now it is the name of the file, the language, and logger. It's fine. I mean, if you're a developer, you would like to use it, but if you are a tester, you don't want to see these logs. You just want to fetch the content, the text from that image, and you just want to check whether it is the same text or not. Okay, so you want to run your assertion against that content. So let's start, guys. Let me comment this out, and the name of the function should be meaningful, so we say get image text. All right, 3 arguments. Number 1, file name. Number 2, language. And number 3, logger. Right, this logger is an optional argument, guys. Okay, we're working with file. All right, so let's use try and catch. In the try block, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check whether the file exists or not. So I just say fs, but we have not imported that module yet, so let's do that. So we say const fs is equal to require fs. All right, so now we have this fs module. This is an inbuilt nodejs module. So now I say fs dot exist sync. Okay, and I just check for this file name whether this exists or not. Okay, so if this exists, then I want to perform the remaining options, and logger is optional. All right, so how do we handle optional things? We say if logger. So if the user has provided logger, then do this. Okay, now what do we have to do? So now first let's define a logger object. So I say my logger, okay, is equal to, this is an object, guys, right? So we say logger, and we do the same thing, m, and we just say console log, and we just say m. Okay, it's the same that we did above. Okay, I just want to make my code cleaner, so I just come in here, and now I say, guys, Tesseract. Okay, we have to use that recognize method, right? So we say recognize, and in that the first thing that we have to pass is that file name. Yes, second is language, so we say language, and third one is because we are passing in the logger, so now I can simply say my logger, like so. All right, now this is going to return us what? Recognize result. So let's create a variable in here, let recognize result is equal to null to start with. Okay, and now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to store this, but guys, this is going to return me a promise. Okay, so I have to use await in here, and then I can do it like so, but I'm using await, so I have to make my main function as async. In my JavaScript video, you would find this async and await concept explained in detail. All right, so this is good. What if the user is not providing this logger? And it's very simple, so we just take a copy of it. In the else block, we just get rid of this. We don't require this. All right, guys, so this is also done. Now if we have something, so we are now handling the null. So if recognize result contains something, okay, if it is not a null object, then we return what? Recognize result dot data. All right, dot text. Very simple. Okay, and in the catch, what do we say? We say if there is an error, then return error dot message. All right, so our program is ready. Let's test it out. Let me collapse this, and now we say get image text. Okay, now we have to provide in the file name, so let us pick this image hyphen text. So we say image hyphen text dot jpg, Second one is language. So language in our case now is English, and let's ignore this logger part. Okay. All right. So next thing is, since this is a async function, so you got to use then. Okay, and this is going to return us what? Content. Okay, and you just print that to the console. Content. If there's an error, so you say catch and you say error message, and again you log that to the console. All right, let's execute this. All right, you see we are not printing the logs anymore. All right, so we got our result back. Okay, so we are able to extract the text successfully. If you want the logs, well, you just say in here true. Okay, like so. And if you run this, you see the logs as well. And we got the text back. Coolish. Now we also have to understand how to use this library at the client side. So for that, I have created this very basic HTML page which looks something like this. And this is the image from which I want to extract this text. And for simplicity purpose, I'm going to display that text in the console itself. Now let's open the documentation, scroll down, and let us see what do we have to do. So it also has a CDN version. So we have to work on version number 2. So just copy that. And in the head section, paste this code. All right, great. Then what else do we have to do? Again, we go to documentation and we just copy this stuff. Okay, come back. In the body, we create a script tag and paste that stuff in here. Now we have to mention our file name, and our file name is image-text.jpg. Alright guys, so it's that simple. So save it. Now I have this live server extension installed, so the moment I save that, that page would be refreshed. Alright, so you see the logs are getting printed in here now, and let's wait for the content to be displayed. Alright guys, so now you see we are able to extract the text at the client side as well. Alright, so I hope you like this. Thank you so much.